The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. Okay, the beginning of our 250th show. Excited?
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think you are. I don't think you are. Now,
it was a long pause. I feel so much older. That's part of the problem.
Well, we've started a tradition where we start every show with a walkout music from one of the great Premier League franchises, and this one is a band called the Stone Roses.
Oh, yeah.
The song
Love
is called "This Is the One," and I'll play you about 15 seconds of it. Here it goes. Okay. What Premier League club walks out to that song?
Well, the thing, so they're from Manchester, the Stone Roses. Yes. you would guess a Manchester club. It's probably not City, because I would guess there's an Oasis portion to that. So I'm just going to go with Man United, maybe.
That is correct.
Whoa! There you go.
I know, because you're a huge Manchester United fan, so I knew you would guess that.
I love them
right away.
Absolutely love it. Yes, exactly.
It is time for the 250th edition of Free Kicks.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
That number sounds kind of ridiculous, doesn't it? We've done this 250 times.
It's amazing. It's amazing. We just thought we would be able to do some over a World Cup, and that was 2 World Cups ago.
It was.
Now we are 7 seasons in. Crazy.
Yeah, and if you look us up on Listen Notes, which is a podcast rating service, you'll find that we are in the top 10% in the world on this show somehow. Of course we are. That just makes so much sense. People are listening to us all over the world. That's the great thing about it. Well, the Premier League is definitely an international experience. And we have had some great times here doing this show. You know, before we get to the actual meat of this week's show, Adam, looking back on these 250 shows, are there any moments that stick out to you?
I would say there's probably 2 clear moments. I think the first one was, and this was what made the show so great, was the fact that, we do it live, and then in the background, my wife's dropping a bunch of pots and pans. This was around about 125 shows in. So that was I'm like, Laura, stop the noise. I'm recording. So that was...
This is not professional.
Exactly. But like I said, that's the beauty of it. That's what made it. And then for me, the other one too, which was really quite cool, and maybe this might be one of your memories too, was when we did it at the convention. When we sat down and did kind of just chatted. You had the background noise of all the people moving around. This was all pre-COVID. The convention has changed a great deal since then in terms of numbers and attendance and different things, but I thought we captured the true atmosphere, and it was in Chicago too, which was kind of cool. And
we got to touch the World Cup trophy. Do you remember that?
That's right.
It was
yes,
there.
Exactly right. Yeah, that's right.
The other memory I'm going to mention is our trip to Chelsea, which we ended up doing a whole bunch of shows about, and all the things that we learned there. And then I think my other final memory, which I kind of goes along with your pots and pans episode, is my mispronunciations episode, where I think I mispronounced like half a dozen names in one episode. And you finally got to a point where you just called me on it, which I thought was great.
You did have a bit of a shocker with some of the names. I think it was it's the classic. At least you know it's Leicester, not Leicester, as so many people call it.
That's a good point. I do now say Premier League. I don't say Premier League anymore.
Fantastic. See, we're changing it. I mean, whenever people say that, and it's like, Worcestershire sauce. How people can butcher Worcestershire. I'm like, what? Do you have some type of speech impediment there? It's like, it's Worcestershire. Not difficult.
Yes.
And we like the shires on the top and the end of it. I'm like,
yes,
on.
exactly.
Who knows?
All right. Well, let's get to this episode because there's been a lot of stuff going on. In fact, we are down to 2 teams now to see who joins the Premier League. In addition to Leeds and Burnley, it's now going to be Sheffield United versus Sunderland. And I guess Sheffield United had a pretty ho-hum victory to get to the finals, but it was Sunderland. They're called the Black Cats. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes,
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So the Black Cats had quite a game, and why don't you tell everybody about it?
Oh, absolutely! It was probably, as they talked, it was the most dramatic game you could have imagined. So it was 2-1 going into the game. So it was 2 legs. So both teams play a home and away. Sunderland was at home. Sunderland actually won the first leg 2-1 at Coventry. Coventry is coached by a Chelsea legend, by the way, Frank Lampard. And Sunderland were up 2-1. You think, oh, they're at home, should be comfortable. But actually Coventry won the game 1-0. So that meant tied 2-2, went to extra time. To be fair, I would probably say Coventry were the better team. I would even say over the 2 legs, but just a bit unlucky. And then, literally in the last 10 seconds, Sunderland get a corner kick. Ball was played in, completely wide open. I think his name, Ballard was the last name. I think the first name was Rich, I think. Actually, Dan Ballard. Just rose like a young salmon, smashed it in with his head. Nobody marked him. Hit the top of the crossbar, hit the bottom of the crossbar, not the top, bottom of the crossbar, bounced over the line to win it. And then that was literally the last kick of the game. They did a kickoff and the referee blew it. So unbelievable. What a way to lose. The last seconds of extra time to lose a game like that. And I know I've been there. I felt that exactly, that feeling. It's terrible. It's awful to lose in the last second of extra time. But so that's how Sunderland did it. They got through, and they are playing at Wembley, I believe, on the 24th. So we'll be probably up in Akron, Ohio, but we'll try and watch the game somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I read about it. I didn't get a chance to see that game. Had a bunch of stuff going on, but it sounds like it was something. Now, isn't your friend Vince? Isn't he a Sunderland fan?
He certainly is. He's a big Sunderland fan. We were texting back and forth. We were actually going to try and watch the game together, but as per usual, he decided not to come over. But that's okay. But then he's texting me the whole time, so it's just quite funny. But yeah, he had some good one-liners. He was very, very happy. So it's a shame that I won't be able to watch the game with him when in the final. But yeah, if Sunderland gets to it, I mean, they're such a well-supported club. I mean, the place was packed.
Well, they drew a crowd of 48,000.
There you go.
So,
that tells you.
I mean, that's a nice sized crowd.
They're ready for the Premier League, that's for sure. They're definitely ready. And so is Sheffield United. So it's going to be a good game. No question. Yeah.
And I will say this to Vince, who I've met a few times. And last time I talked to him, he said that he doesn't like watching the Premier League because of VAR.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Vince, you're going to find out VAR is not so bad. That's all I'm going to have to say.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. As long as he's watching it, as long as Sunderland win. And I hope they do. I think they'll be a great addition to the Premier League.
Yeah, I'm rooting for him too. And they've been in the Premier League before. It's not like they've never been in the league. So, I mean, when I started watching, they were in the league. So it's not that long ago. They were. Yeah,
exactly. And the other thing too, I forgot to mention in the game, which was tough, was their starting striker for Coventry is Haji Wright, who's an American player. And he had a great chance to win the game, too, literally near the end of the game. Header, you might see it if you YouTube it, but he had a good chance. His header was a bit of a mess. I mean, I was like, oh, man, this could be a great way to win the game. So they had that opportunity. But, yeah. But from where Coventry were, and they'll give credit to Frank Lampard. They were 17th when he took over round about Christmas time to get them into the playoffs. Pretty good accomplishment. So,
and who did he take over from?
Mark Robbins was the coach there. Okay. Mark Robbins, yeah. Okay. So he's now coaching another club. I think he's at maybe Preston, somebody else. But he'd done well before too. He'd taken them to the playoff finals and done well, but maybe it got a little sour. So they just needed a reboot, and it seemed like Frank Lampard was able to take them to the Never Never Land, at least to a certain point.
Yeah, that's great. All right, let's talk about a couple of other games that happened in the Premier League. There, as a Liverpool fan, as a Liverpool supporter, I have to say this: I was a little upset with the way that my fellow Liverpool supporters responded to Trent Alexander-Arnold when he came in the game. I thought it was classless. I mean, this kid grew up in Liverpool. He was on that club for 20 years. He started when he was 6 years old. It meant everything to him. He gave it all. It's not like he was a slacker at any time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, yes, he announced he wants to go to Real Madrid. But, I mean, the way that they booed him every time he touched the ball, even when he was running toward the ball, they started booing. Yeah. They're like, what the hell? We just won the title. Knock it off. Yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
You're not making friends with your Liverpool fans here.
I know. I'm sorry, but that's I feel very strongly about that.
Yeah, no, I think it was definitely harsh. It's kind of a sad ending in terms of, I think everybody's kind of a little upset. Maybe they don't want him to leave. They want him to be there. But again, like you mentioned, can we do it in a nice way? He's given everything he has to the club. And to be fair, he's won everything he needed to with the club.
Right.
Won the league, won the FA Cup, League Cup, also won the Champions League. What else can he do? So give him an opportunity to make a huge amount of money. Madrid, it's an okay place to live. I mean, come on.
Exactly.
I mean, it's sunny. I mean, no offense to Liverpool. It's going to be a lot warmer on a consistent basis. So you can't fault the guy. I mean, he's got a better situation. He's going to be making the, boodles amount of money, living in a beautiful weather climate. Good luck to him is what I say.
And it's not like he is being a jerk about this. You know what I mean? It's not like he's going on and saying, well, Liverpool sucks, or he's not attacking the fans. There was no, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm just a sappy American who doesn't understand how it's supposed to go. But that's my reaction to how that happened. Let's also talk about what happened to your team, Chelsea, because I also watched that game. And Nicholas Jackson.
You watched this game? You got up at 6 a.m.?
I did.
I'm impressed.
I did.
That's impressive. You did it for the show.
I admit, I watched, I missed the first 18 minutes of it, but, for me.
Not bad. Yeah. That's pretty impressive. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good game. But, Nicholas Jackson, you guys you're fighting for Europe. They're a better team when he's in the lineup than when he's not. He's kind of a key member of that offense. Red card, suspended the rest of the season, cannot help this team the rest of the year. Your thoughts?
Yeah, not his best day. I mean, it was a clear elbow to the face and was a straight red card. I mean, there's no question about it. Was not being very smart. Maybe there was a little bit of frustration on his part with how the game had started, because Chelsea had not started very, very well.
Right.
But I'm just you sometimes wonder about some of the decisions being made, because it's interesting. Second half, Chelsea played a lot better. In fact, you could probably say with 10 men, they were the better of the two teams.
Yeah.
They had a lot of possession. Reece James looked like a world beater. Again, my honest opinion, I'm not here to I just think Reece James should be playing every game. That's just my opinion. He looks really good when he does play. I've seen him play for England. He's the starting right back. Let's start him at right back. So, hey, one of those things, I think he could definitely and he's the captain. He's the leader on the team.
Right.
Arguably, this was the biggest game of the season. What more can I say?
It must be a medical thing, right?
I think there's a monitoring. I know they don't want him to get injured. I certainly get that. But my goodness.
But if you don't play now, when are you going to play him?
Right, exactly. You can't keep saving him for whatever.
Right.
So, and obviously, they're in a final, which is nice, in the conference final down the road. But, the priority is to get into the Champions League. So, very disappointing, but I'll give them a lot of credit. They played much better in the second half, had some chances. And to be fair, Reece James should have scored to maybe tie it up. But then, of course, as always happens, we miss one end, they go back down the other end, and they score a deflected goal. I mean, but the energy level that Newcastle had in the first half was just a little bit higher than Chelsea's, and they were pressing higher, getting the ball, causing turnovers. That led to that first goal. And, it's Chelsea's now got their back against the wall a little bit. They've got some work to do. We'll see what happens these final two games.
And Newcastle looks like they're in now, I'd say.
I think so. I think, definitely 66 points. They've got a tough game this weekend. But, they theoretically, right now, they're pushing to even become second place.
Yeah, they are. And that's a good team.
So that's
a good team.
Yes.
There's no shame in losing to Newcastle.
No, absolutely. At Newcastle, it's tough. I was very happy we beat Liverpool last week, so I'll take that. But
I had to mention it again.
Well, of course we did. Yeah. Have you noticed that Liverpool hasn't won a game recently?
Whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. We're just going through the motions.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about the other team in Liverpool, which is Everton. This is kind of a big weekend coming up at Everton. It's their final game in Goodison Park.
Yeah.
Which I believe is the oldest stadium in the league, or second oldest. You're correct. But I think it's the oldest. Talk about what that means to the people of Liverpool and what it means to get a new stadium. In America, we have fondness for our old stadiums in a way that some other nations do not. We want to keep those stadiums alive forever. As a Cubs fan who goes to Wrigley Field, that's a stadium that's 100 years old. Goodison Park is too. And so talk about how the people of Liverpool feel about this.
Well, Goodison is definitely this stadium that has a great deal of magic in terms of its authentic. I've been lucky enough to go there a few years ago. I actually saw, I saw an FA Cup game. It was the first time I'd been to Everton. I've been to Liverpool, but going to Everton, it's right in the middle of the city. It's right there. It's right across from the park where Liverpool is. So on the other side of the park is Liverpool. But the interesting part about the stadium, and this kind of goes back to its heritage, is there's some really bad seats there. So you can sometimes be sitting behind a pole, but there's also that's the authenticity of it because of how it was built. So you really do feel like you're part of history. I remember walking out from where we were sitting. We were fairly high up. The bathroom was right next to where the line is to get the beer. If you were in the wrong line, I'm getting the beer instead of going to the bathroom. So it's just like everything's so close, but it's really the history there. Now, I don't know if you heard this, but Goodison is not going away because it is now going to be the first it's going to be the first structure, I guess you could say, first purpose-built ground for women's soccer in England. So the Everton women are going to be playing at Goodison Park.
Oh, that's great.
So it's going to be the permanent home. So it's not going away. That's the nice thing. They're going to keep it up, which is great. And so the women's team are going to use that full time. So that's kind of cool because it gives them the ability to do that. But also the nice thing is I think they'll also utilize it for community matches as well as academy matches. So they'll get a lot of service. I'd be interested to see if they they keep the grass or they turf it. That could be a question because just dependent on the amount of wear and tear that they may put on it. But yeah, I'd be interested to see how that goes. But hopefully they keep the grass. Fingers up. But yeah, so it's good.
Okay. Let's do our stat of the week. I found this quiz online, and it was a quiz to name the all-time leading Premier League scorer for each team. Now, I'm not going to go through all 20 of them, but I got 17 of them correct. Now,
that's impressive.
Thank you. But I wanted to go through the 3 that I got incorrect to see if you will get them. All right? Ooh. You ready to try this?
I'll try.
I think you would have gotten all the other ones correct also. Like for instance, who is the all-time leading at Arsenal?
Okay, probably, was it Ian Wright?
Uh-oh. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Maybe I need to go over this way. It's on
maybe Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry. Yeah.
Well, let's assume you get the rest of them correct.
Okay,
and then we'll go to Brighton. Who is Brighton's leading Premier League goal scorer with 33 goals, which is not a lot. But no. My incorrect answer was Glenn Murray.
That's good. That's good. Well, it might be him now in terms of goals he scored. Would it be Danny Welbeck?
It is. Okay. So that helps your Arsenal incorrect answer. All right. How about Ipswich Town? Right.
Ooh, Ipswich.
And this is, just for Premier League goals, right? So
they basically haven't been in the Premier League for very long, right? So
the record is 25 goals.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I can't see that he scored that many. I mean, my first person was Liam Delap, but I don't think he's scored that many.
No.
So I'm going to go with, I don't know.
His first name is Marcus.
Oh, yeah, Marcus. Yes, that's yeah, Marcus. He's now playing with Burnley, actually. I was just talking to somebody about it. Oh, gosh, what's his last name? Jenkins, maybe? Marcus Jenkins?
Marcus Stewart is the correct
Marcus
answer.
Stewart, yes. He's now at Burnley. So I was just talking with my associate there in the office about it because he's now playing at Burnley. So that's good.
Okay. So you would have also gotten that one incorrect. So we're basically the same right now. So you can win it with this one. All right.
All right.
We're going to go to Southampton. And it's the all-time leading Premier League goal scorer with 100 goals at Southampton. I'll tell you my incorrect answer was my favorite player, James Ward-Prowse. He did not. Oh,
yeah, not even close.
No,
yeah,
he did not.
Well, this is a good one. This is a tough one. So you've got a few people. I'm going to go with, he's no longer playing there. I'm going to go with Danny Ings.
That's a good guess, but it is incorrect. His first name is Matt.
Matt.
And this is just to come full circle here in our 250th show. I'm probably going to mispronounce his name.
It's going to be great. Go ahead.
It's Letizier.
Oh, Matt Letizier.
Letizier.
Yeah, of course. Good, of course. Yeah. I was thinking of Matt Letizier. He's probably the greatest Southampton player of all time. But I didn't realize he had spent so much time. He had played so much outside of the Premier League too. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I would have guessed that correctly if I was given the real information. So yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. So you still win. Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer has been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975 and has a strong history of credibility. Illinois Youth Soccer is a non-profit corporation official state association and charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, and the Olympic Development Program. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org. I do have some news, by the way.
Oh, hang on a second. There we go.
And now, the latest Chicago area soccer news. Soccer news. With Coach Adam. Coach Adam.
What would that be?
All right, so we are listing all of our courses. So we've got a bunch of coaching education courses. Go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org under coaching education courses. We've got a bunch of courses that are popping up. So we've got our brand new C license will be coming out very, very soon. We've got D licenses open. We've got grassroots courses all over the state from the north to the south. Plus, also, we have our new club technical leadership course, which is open as well, which will be starting in July, which I'm just wrapping up the previous one, which I really, really enjoy teaching that course, working with all of our DOCs within the state, as well as outside. We actually had a DOC from Washington Rush out in Seattle. So it was great to get a feel of what he does. So go to our website and find out what courses fit for you if you want to become a licensed coach within Illinois Youth Soccer.
So that Rush Club is everywhere now, right?
Everywhere. There's a Rush pretty much throughout every state, I would say. So it's quite a franchise, yeah. So you've got, obviously we have our Chicago Rush, and then you've got all over the country. Started in Colorado, I believe, is how it all began. Mm-hmm.
All right, time for another feature.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
Okay, this is, I'll tell you, is not one of the all-time leading scorers. And,
good.
If you need a hint later, I will give you the name of the person from his club that is the all-time leading scorer.
Okay.
This gentleman is 35 years old.
Ooh.
So he's one of the oldest players in the league. He's played 329 games for his current club. That's 13 seasons.
How many games has he played?
329 games.
Wow, that's a lot.
And 13 seasons. Both of those are records for this club.
Mm-hmm.
He wears number 2. He is not one of the top scorers because he is a defender. He's a right back or a center back, depending on the coach. He is also the team captain.
Wow, team captain as well.
Yes.
He's played for the same club the whole time.
Yes. But here's the thing that I found interesting is despite being a legend at this club, he has never once played for the English national team.
Mm.
And not even as a youth. And he is English. I guess I should say that.
Yeah, sure. Wow. This is a good one.
He plays in London.
Okay. He's in London. Oh, my goodness.
His team has a shot at a cup this year.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. So he's got to be playing for maybe this Crystal Palace team, would you say?
Could be.
Wow.
Team's all-time leading scorer is Wilfred Zaha, by the way.
Yeah, who's now playing in the MLS, by the way.
Right.
Charlotte FC. I didn't realize that this guy had played that many times. I remember seeing him, and I didn't realize he played his whole career, and he's definitely going to be in their Hall of Fame, I would say. So it has to be Mr. Joel Ward from Crystal Palace. Yes.
And he has announced that the cup is going to the cup final is going to be his last game as a Crystal Palace player.
Okay.
So it's finally ending.
Makes perfect sense. Hey, if you can go out winning the cup, that's the perfect way. Hopefully they win it just because of him. Hopefully he gets to play. Has he played much this year? I don't know if he's been in and out of the squad this year.
I think that's one of the reasons why he is leaving. But, Yeah, he is the captain of the team right now, so he must be playing somewhat, or unless they're doing a Reece James with him.
Well, I just did some research. Rick, and when we talk this, we call this what's this segment called? The Premier League Stars. Okay, so just so you know, this guy's played one bloody match.
Whatever.
He's only played in one game.
Whatever.
He's made 2 appearances.
See, there's 2. He's played in 2. I wanted to pay tribute to the guy because he's retiring after this, so that was the reason I brought it up. But
I just hope he plays in the game. Poor fella's only played in one game.
We're going to move on now. It's time for another feature.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
Okay, so what do you got?
I tell you what, that's an all-time low in terms of Premiership stars. I'm almost as close as being a Premiership star as he is.
Hey, have you played 329 matches for your club? You have not.
I certainly have not, and I've not taken anything away from Joel Ward because he's had a fantastic career. And to be fair, he did play a lot last year. Yeah. This year, maybe not so much, and I don't know what he's done from an injury standpoint, where he's at, all kinds of things. But congrats to Joel on being our Premier League star, and I put in parentheses.
You're almost choking on the word.
But anyway.
Yeah. So are there any matches we can watch this weekend that don't involve Joel, perhaps?
Well, to be fair, let's hope that Joel plays. The first game you're going to probably need to put on now. Here's the thing. The games start on Friday, so you're going to have to watch that. So Friday is the start of the Premier League, and it goes from Friday to Tuesday because of the FA Cup. So Joel, hopefully he's played in the game on Saturday, gets a few minutes in here, wherever it may be. That's the FA Cup final. ESPN, I think you're going to have to catch that. That's Saturday, May 17th, 10:30 a.m. kickoff. So that's definitely a game you're going to want to watch.
Yes.
But if we're going to the Premier League, there's got to be some big games. And again, and I'm not doing this because of my blue-tinted glasses of Chelsea that I always go, but the first game that I think we're all going to need to watch is definitely Chelsea versus Man United. And Villa Spurs is on at the same time. So Chelsea plays at home against Man United. This is a huge game for them. So they've got to win that game. No question. Fortunately, it's Man United, so it should be an easy win. So it shouldn't be a problem. Because they only play on Thursdays. Have you seen how bad, by the way, how bad Man United and Spurs are? I mean, they are...
It's embarrassing.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the table, and they are basically 2 spots. If their bottom 3 were any good, they could be relegated.
I know. Yeah, it wasn't too long ago that we referred to the Big Six, right? Well, 2 of the Big Six are Deep Six.
Exactly, yeah. They're 17th and 16th, 38 and 39 points. I mean, they're miles away from being relegated, but unbelievable. Yeah, just crazy. But anyway, so big games for Villa and Chelsea. Obviously, when you look at the table, anything can change. So theoretically, at the end of Friday, Chelsea and Villa, if they win both their games, which you would expect them to on current form, we could have them at 3rd and 4th. So that would be great. And then I put down for a second game to watch, I would definitely put this down as well, is that you're going to need to go in and watch this big game between West Ham and Forest, because that's going to be a game that could probably affect what happens at Sunday. So there's no games on Saturday. Just Sunday, so it's Friday, Sunday, and then Newcastle as well. It's hard to pick one, but if you're going to pick a couple, Friday, watch those 2 on Friday, Villa, Chelsea, because that could stem the tide of what's going to happen for the future of the weekend. So lots of good stuff. Do
they not play any matches on Saturday because of respect for the FA Cup final? Is that the reason why?
Yeah, it's interesting. Things have changed so much even when I was a kid. Like normally the FA Cup was the very last game. Sometimes the FA Cup turned out to be right before the Champions League final and people got upset because, England often had a team in that, so they were resting players, especially if they were in the FA Cup final and then also the Champions League. It's changed so much. So it seems like now they're kind of putting it at the second from last game of the season. So that's why they've moved those games to Sunday so that everybody can watch the FA Cup. Yeah. So it's a good move. And then obviously the following week is the final day of the season. So when they play all the games at the same time. So that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, and that's always fun. And the Nottingham Forest game, that is definitely a must-win for them.
No question. They definitely dropping, had a tough result on the weekend to draw 2-2. I was keeping my fingers crossed against Leicester City. I was hoping for Jamie Vardy to bang in the winner. But glad they got the tie. So they're in 7th spot. Although they got 62 points and Villa and Chelsea got 63. It's right there. It's going down to the wire. So that's why I think those Villa-Chelsea games, that's going to be a big one. If Villa drops and Chelsea wins, that could maybe be a big impact for sure.
Did you see the fight on the – I mean, fight is not really the right word, but argument between Nuno and the owner of Forest?
Yeah. I think they downplayed.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Have you seen an owner go on the field like that before?
I've seen it in some other areas, and it's probably been in some countries that probably take it way, way too seriously.
Right.
But you're right. That was not the best move. I think they downplayed it a fair bit, talking about different things. But I think there's probably some little bit more seriousness to it than what they've made it out to be. But yeah, if you should probably just stay and just watch the game. Let the manager do what he needs to do. Not a great look.
Right. If you've got a problem with him, fire him. But
exactly,
you're not going to do that because this guy's done a better job with this club than anyone ever. So, come on.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly. They were almost relegated last year, and then now they're almost in the Champions League.
What have you done for me? What have you done for me lately? I guess. So anyway. Free Kicks is brought to you by Green White Soccer Club. You can go to greenwhitesoccer.org. There are teams for every age group, including over 50s. We have a ladies team this year playing in a league. We have a U23 team. Really, if you got somebody who wants to play soccer, greenwhitesoccer.org. All right, we have people to thank. First of all, 250 episodes, every single one of them. Executive producer, Tony Lasano. Thank you very much, Tony, for all you do. 250 episodes. Distributor, Ed Silla. Every single episode. Thank you, Ed, for all you do. Great Talk Radio hasn't died. It's just gone to a better place. RadioMisfits.com. And we'll be back again, right? We can make 251, right?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. We'll be back again next week with another episode of Free Kicks.
The preceding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at RadioMisfits.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?